I've been talking knife martial arts, knife fighting, the reality of knife fighting versus delusions. So there's a big part of self-defense content on YouTube and how to instructionals that are delusions based, okay, and give people a false sense of security. And this also applies to at large as a total individual and the topic of gang stalking because gang stalkers are part of a cult. People that are flying monkeys get recruited to target individuals like me and other targets in this world. They are cult members, and cult members need to be protected from reality. See, so the gang stalkers that work for this program, they're part of a cult and they're brainwashed to be part of a cult to stalk, harass, abuse other people secretly. Okay, and they're delusional. Okay, and I really like poking a hole in the delusions and lies of the gang stalkers in the propaganda. For example, they told lies about the targeted videos that we're all bad and it's nothing bad that they're doing to us. And here's another thing. There's been several mass violence events perpetrated by what I believe to be targeted videos like Myra May and others. And I'm sure his coworkers were told that it was safe to fuck with Myra May and bully and abuse him every day. They were told you don't have to worry about this guy Myra May. He's a pussy. He's scared of you. Couldn't harm a fly. Never would try to. Kind of stuff. And then look at what the effects are of being told lies and believing them. So I do believe that Myra May could well have been a real targeted video who brought a gun to his workplace and he was being gang stalked in his workplace at Navy Yard and went on ballistic. I'm not promoting that. Okay, I'm not saying they did a good thing. But I do believe that my way where what could have been a real target video that were being taught about this gang stalking program. And having believed lies about the targeting, which is common because there's so much lies about gang stalking, meaning people like Scott Snitzer, Captain Horton, hyping direct entry weapons and V2K machines and stuff. So I do believe that very well Barmay could have been a real target video, just believing lies about the targeting. And he might have been targeted physically with chem sprays and food poisoning and things like this that we do get attacked with. And just believing and attributing his symptoms to these direct entry weapons and other space that he's been told by the TIs in the community, TIs that he's being attacked with. So Marmay, the Navy Yard shooter, he was a torpedo. I think it could be a real torpedo, about 90% maybe. And I do believe that some mass stabbings, mass shootings have been done by torpedoes. They were tired of being bullied and abused and attacked physically by the gang stalking program. And they took matters into their own hands, not getting justice from the system. That the cops are not doing their job to stop crimes, terrorism being committed against them. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form promoting violence by torpedoes or anybody else. But some of these possibly could have been prevented if the people understood how dangerous it is for them to be bullying and abusing a target individual who's the target for work to destabilize and radicalize them. Gang stalkers work to destabilize a person, enrage them, abuse them wickedly until they snap, okay? And either get institutionalized or underline themselves or somebody else, which for me is not on the playing field to underline myself. In self-defense, I would have a problem to end the human life in the defense of mine if needed, required. So by the local laws around self-defense use of weapons at all times. Okay. So one of the things that I can tell you is gang stalkers are delusional because, and I'm not surprised because they're part of a cult that secretly stalks and murders people. Gang stalking is murder. It's a program that starts working to target a person mentally and physically until the person dies in the target. Okay, and they target directly physically. Even the psychological attacks are violence. Okay, narcissistic abuse, if long term enough, and intense enough, gives little physical brain damage. Like somebody can get punched in the head one too many times, a box and get brain damage. Okay. You can also get brain damage if being subjected to narcissistic abuse for years and years, which gang stalking is on steroids, and then some. Okay. So one of the good works, one of the good things to do that I can do is to remind the gang stalker how dangerous it is for them individually, physically, to be targeted individuals because they're working for a program. And I don't have to make criminal threats to make that case, okay? Which I'm not doing. I'm saying If you're in the room with another person bullying them, you risk them pulling a weapon on and attacking them with it. If you're in the room with another person bullying them, you risk being attacked physically by the bully victim, the person you bully. Okay. And I don't have to make threats that I might attack a bully physically for me to make that case. Okay. So if you bully people, there's a risk factor for violence happening. Joe Rogan has a clip in his podcast. I remember that a clip I saw from his podcast where he talks about people don't understand how crazy it is to be bullying people. People don't just let you bully them forever. It's like you bully people, sometimes they wait for you outside the workplace or school to attack you physically and beat your ass, okay? They find a way to get back at you, okay? Or maybe next time they show up at school and you bully them, they punch you in the fucking mouth and pull a knife on you or something like this. Okay, and I'm not, do you understand? So bullying is a risk factor for violence, for crimes in society. Because first of all, the type of bullying is illegal, criminal. Okay, certain types of bullying is illegal. Secondly, hurting people hurt people, and if you work to hurt people and abuse them enough, you create an insatiable appetite for vengeance in the victim of your abuse. Okay, they might be suppressible for a while, but sooner or later, the person subjected to your violence, psychological otherwise, will feel like returning the favor. Okay, so Uh, one of the things I like to remind people of, gang stalkers, okay, there are cult members, sick free cult members that they work to take orders to bullet torpedoes, is you risk violence happening. You risk, you pick on people, abuse them for this gang stalker program. You risk Mary things happening. You risk, I do believe some of the school shootings, mass violence events could have been done, but statistically, maybe it's 7% of mass violent events, like some guy in the shopping mall goes on a stabbing spree or something you hear about in the news. Personally, as Todd video, I think maybe it's like 1 in 10 of these that were done by a TI, a Todd video. They were being targeted in the supermarket, like me when I go to the supermarket. Part of the TI experience is if you go to the supermarket, people get sent to abuse you and harass you and violate you there. Sometimes take you physically in corporate ways. Okay. And everywhere you go, you get stalked and harassed. There's people that get bullied in the workplace before the program works to get them to lose their job. Okay. There's like they're taught video if they're able to keep a job short term, they get harassed in the workplace and bullied and attacked in different ways. They, if they go to supermarket, go shopping, you get told this is tyranny. You're not supposed to be able to be like, I can't live the pursuit of happiness, have a job without being tyrannized and abused, and I can't go buy food for myself without minions of the deep state being sent to harass me. So part of the reality, I like to poke holes in deception and stuff because the people work for this program are delusional, okay? They're delusional cult members. So imagine that I've had women in the room with me bullying me, and I'm a guy carrying a knife training to kill with it, okay? And I'm physically more powerful than average Swede. I'm a trained fighter. I live like my life is a training camp. And I've had people out of shape, soft, ugly, untrained, less physically powerful than me, picking on me in the room behind closed doors when I'm armed with knives and have trained to kill with them. And I'm faster, harder, better, faster, stronger than them. And it's still because they're a fucking cult member, feeling a false sense of security and been taking orders to make me feel bullied by them and violated. Okay, which reminds me of a clip by Joe Rogan where he talked about when he was coming up in Hollywood, he would be like in hanging out with another actor. There'd be some little twerp guy. He's not a trained fighter. Rogan used to compete in Taekwondo. And physically is more like trained and has a fighter fitness, like in better shape than this person. And he had like little twerp sissy boys in the room. They'd be like passive aggressive and fucking with him. And he'd be like, I bet you I could fucking kill this person. He's like, I could fucking kill this guy. Other side. He's like, how dare you, other side? I could fucking kill this motherfucker. What is he gonna do about it? Like, I could just go close to this and fucking kill this person. And it would be able to do anything. I could easily kill this motherfucker. And Drogo would say that. In a clip, we're talking about like being bullied kind of by twerps, okay? Now imagine being a guy like Mike Son having women bullying you in the same room as you, okay? So he's not even like a weak guy, but a woman, okay? That's happened to me at least once, put it like that. And I don't give a shit. I'm going to talk about some radical problems in here. And I'm not threatening anything. I'm not saying targets should attack people. I'm not saying that anybody should. I'm not promoting or glorifying violence in this video or calling for it. I'm just saying that it's a risk factor to have groups of people bullying somebody. It's a risk factor for the bully victim turning, being radicalized, and getting attacking people physically. Okay. Another instance was this clip I saw of a guy shoveling his backyard, and there were people picking on him like a couple, and he comes back with a gun and executes him on the spot. Okay. And they were both shocked. It seems like they were shocked. Okay. So a lot of times people who are bullying people are delusional and have a false sense of security. I even seen it in a YouTube channel about that kind of deal with some issues related to gang stalking and humiliation rituals, where people write about how these type of people typically pick on somebody who's like not dangerous or powerful, stuff like this. And in my experience, I know that that's not true, which is why they had to compensate by getting the cult members to believe lies, okay, and keep them delusional. Do you understand? Because I'm not a homeless little sister. Being homeless is not a virtue to a piece of gold. Being homeless is not a virtue. Okay. So I'm a person who has the capability to be incredibly dangerous to any human in the room with me. Any human. I don't care if I would have Brock Lesnar and Michael Bisping in the prime. If I got a knife on me, I'm dangerous to you. I don't think that Michael Bisping and Brock Lesnar will be feeling comfortable getting in my room here and start bullying me, especially not if they know that I have a knife on me and have been trained to kill with it, because it's just straight facts, okay? And I don't think they'd be safe if somebody showed me a fake martial arts video about knife disarms, but oh yeah, I can just disarm it quickly. We overpower him. Do you understand? So, as a case study, uh, if people believe that it's safe to be in my home abusing me with violence, psychological or otherwise, they're delusional and crazy. Because there comes a point where if I need to defend myself, I might do so. Okay. Morally, okay, and legally. Now, even the fact of even if I didn't have knives in my home, you still be really crazy to be in my house picking on me. Or even being in the supermarket, like the perps who get sent to the supermarket to arrest me. That's not safe. I don't have to make threats that I might do something crazy one of these days if you keep bullying me for that to be true. It's just by all of the crime statistics, by all the psychology, makes the case for me. Meaning, if you have an autistic individual that has lower inhibition impulse control and emotional volatility to begin with, and you're working to stress them out, provoke them, push their buttons, make them feel violent and abused. But for opponents also work to interfere with their sleep and make it hard for them to sleep. Okay. And you're in the room bullying them. For a program that's also said we might use one of these fine monkeys to attack you again one of these times, spray with a chemical, shoot with a dart gun again. So just showing that you're part of this program makes me have every reason to think I might have to fight you to the death, understand? Because I keep other people that work for this program, when they'd be like, okay, they work for the program, I can tell by their behavior. It might start with some passive aggressiveness you get told what to do. But it's also happening people work for the program sometimes get told to have a covert device to spray a toxic chemical on me secretly. Okay, that happened in this restaurant downtown, long. I'm sitting there eating. There's a group of person walking. They're holding something in the hand, and I feel something hit my face, kind of like a gas cloud or something like this, and I start itching there. The chemical toxin. Okay, chemical irritant was sprayed on me. I've been shown with those kind of things. So, it's more effective to argue for it being dangerous to bully people than that it's morally wrong, because antisocial, toxic, bully, piece of shit people, they obviously, once they long term start abusing somebody, they've already proved they're a person's not vulnerable to right and wrong, and they got a conscience and they're in tune with it, and they care about what's right and wrong, and they're the type of person doesn't have to be told not to abuse and bully people and how that's wrong, like a child, okay? Like people have to be told as children, don't bully people, that's wrong, okay? You deal with people that are bullies, they are apparently not type of person cares, is it wrong for me to bully somebody or not? So one of the only things, angles, that might be effective is to prove to them how it's dangerous for them personally to bully people. That it's physically dangerous to bully people, okay? To get them to stop bullying people. You have to educate them on the fact that it's physically dangerous for themselves and other people to be doing that, okay? and that they risk some very serious consequences that they wouldn't like if they do that. Okay, so so this is kind of like both talk about my knife fighting martial arts interest and gang stalking, which I'm not talking about, and bullying in general. I can actually give you a real world example. I can actually give you a real world example of how a person feeling physically endangered stopped bullying me after I've made it clear to them that they're in physical danger by doing so. And once again, I'm not threatening violence. I'm not encouraging it. I'm not calling for it, not threatening it. The Bible laws, we're going to sometimes use verbs sometimes. However, the case that I'm making is it should be dangerous. You don't have a right to feel safe and comfortable in abusing people. You don't. Okay. And the gang stalking perps, which is a certain type of bullying, they get recruited by a coordinated group like side gang stalking to like pick on an individual. They need to be made aware that by doing violence to somebody, psychological violence and or physical, they are doing violence to somebody, and they're also risking violence happening to themselves. Okay, they're also risking violence happening to themselves. So I can tell you a real world example where I was able to get bullying to stop. When I grew up in high school, I grew up in foster care. I lived in a foster home for a chunk of my upbringing, okay, which wasn't exactly fun. And it sent me for a mental tailspin for a while, okay. So uh, growing up in school, I was like a late bloomer, small kid, okay. But once I hit puberty, it's like I started having more testosterone than other people do. But I was like a late bloomer, okay, and kind of like the small kid, and kind of also like timid, uh, traumatized child energy, and things like this. So now when I get bullied, it's not because I'm sending weakness signals. It's because people get recruited by the gang stalker point to pick on me, and they use lies. Okay, but when I had a period where I was being bullied in like high school, and maybe when we like what 15 or something like this, and there was a big tall kid that would be bullying me. So I go down the school hallway. It was like I was like a foster home kid that didn't get any clothing, and they used to be kind of like a cash cow, where it's like they were getting money from the social office to have a foster kid in their home, and they were holding it back and not spending as much as they should on like hygiene articles and clothes. So they'd be like, get me some L cheap or everything. So kind of private for bullying, where it's like, okay. So there was a kid who was a lot taller than me, and he'd like make fun of Mike and his cheap clothes and his and like laugh at me in the hallway stuff. And one time we had like a home class where like teaching you how to cook and clean and stuff after you leave your home, and they had like different islands, kitchen islands like this, and you're all cooking something. And this guy, now it was something before this actually. This is the combination of the bullying and the bullying ended. There was a period of time where he would be bullying me, and one of these times he's come down the hallway. I was there and I just put my foot out to trip him. He was taller than me and bigger than me, but it's like I had the courage to confront bullies physically since an early age. There's happened a few times where I've used physical violence on bullies, okay, after them started bullying me. By experience, understand. And sometimes that's the only thing that can make the bullying to stop, unfortunately. In my experience, I'm not calling for it, okay? But by real world example, first fist fight I was in was with a bully, and I punched him in the fucking mouth, and I took the bullying out of him. And he didn't want to bully me after that. I also fought the same guy later on, not as a child, but as a teenager, like a young adult, okay? And he didn't like the max out punches, the round two either, okay, the second time. They did, okay. So let's talk about this a little bit. So bullying, um, I was being bullied by childhood friends as I was a kid. We were in the forest. We were childhood friends, and he was picking on me. We were in the forest. It's me, my sister, him, and his brother. They were kind of picking on me, and my told him stop bullying me. He didn't stop bullying me. Kept picking on me, and I walked up and socked him in the fucking mouth, and punched him here, and there was blood. I remember I reacted to it. walked up and punched in the fucking mouth. I remember he looked shocked and he had like blood on his hand and his face. And either it was his nose or his lip that was split, but he had like blood and looked shocked and kind of backs away from me and they took the bullet out of him. So unfortunately, after telling him to stop bullying me, that wasn't enough. And it wasn't until I punched in the fucking mouth that he realized that, oh, bullying people is a bad thing to do for me. Okay. See, not generally, that it wasn't enough. And that was my first fist fight before I was 10 years old. Okay. And just one punch thrown at the end of the fight. Okay. So, anyways, the point. I fought the same guy later on, once again for bullying me. Where we after this, we kissed it up and we're friends. And we were like childhood kids in the same village, rural village. And like me, him, his brother, and my sister were like childhood friends and played together, hang out. And we were able to be friends for many years after that, hang out. But I got to a point where I'm around 18, 17, 18 maybe, where he started bullying me again, picking on me and say things like, "Don't you feel like a fucking loser because you don't have a job yet," or something like this. And I'm like 18, 17, whatever, and be like, "I'm not a pussy like you to cut my own hair," because I go, "Do you get me a haircut?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "I got cut my own hair." Like, "Yeah, I'm not a fucking pussy like you to cut my own." So he started getting verbally abusive to me, and after a while, I got the part, I told him, like, "Don't come around my house, okay? We're done. We're not friends anymore. Fuck you. Stay away from me, okay? Don't come to my home anymore. Don't come around me." He said, we're not friends anymore. Mind your business, okay? Uh, Eventually, then to provoke me, I guess he called my brother, and he went kind of like, "Can I come over play video games?" And he didn't tell my brother, was ignorant of the fact that I told this guy, "Don't come around my house." So he used as a proxy my brother to kind of get into my home just to provoke me. Because I told him, "Don't come around me. It's a boundary. Leave me. Don't come around me. We're down. We're not friends anymore. Stay away from me." Okay. And then one day I walk up the stairs, get morning coffee, and I see him sitting playing video games with my brother. Okay. And at which point I open the fridge door and it hit like the chair. As I banged into the chair he was sitting on, and it flies out and gets in my face, pushes me. At which point I quickly punched him twice in the air, bang bang like this, and that got him rocked, like stunned. I could see that took the bullying out of him again, at least for a short amount of time. So it's had like a short-term therapeutic effect to remove the bullying. So I punched him twice in the ear, and it's kind of like a punch I throw the first one straight from the hip, cut to the chase. I tell motherfucking bitch to his face, bam, hit him like this, just from the hip here on the right ear, and then right after that, kind of bounce off his fucking cranium, meaning I didn't cock it, it's just like this, bang, like one punch, and it bounced off his head, and I hear, and that's not into new punch right away. So it's kind of like this, okay, one, two, like this, and the first, see, and then I saw he's standing like walking like he's dazed, okay, stunned, and like once again, okay, that took the boom out of him. They stopped the threat. He pushed me, so he assaulted me by pushing me. I punched him twice in the head, okay, and now he's standing kind of like swaying and looking like stunned, walked, okay. At which point, my brother thought that I just assaulted a guy for no reason, and kind of like my brother starts swinging on me, okay, and I don't have the pulse with my brother. He didn't know what was going on. So he's down there. I don't punch him again. If I would have hit him again, he'd get knocked out, dropped on the side. So because I didn't knock him out, I ended up kind of losing the fight eventually. But if it was just, the other side, I punched him twice. He pushed me, punched it twice. He's rocked. If I would have punched him more times, he'd go out on the side. It's just like the first two punches already got him stunned and rocked. So if I would have punched him more, and like he'd be dropped. But he looks okay. That stopped the threat. He stopped pushing me and stuff. And my brother's like, "Don't hit the guy." And my brother starts swinging behind it. And he was young, okay. And I think this is instinctual before you learn, like, trained to throw punches. The same thing me one time. I used the same, like, windmill hammer fist. So he was kind of swinging windmill hammer fist at me like this. And I blocking them high like this. So he's attacking high and blocking high. And I was doing a good job blocking him, just working to block his punches that come like this. And maybe one of them hit like this. And hello, Sabir. So after this, I'm blocking part from my brother. So it's like I'm not punching him or doing anything to hurt him. It's like I'm just focused on blocking his punches, bring me a hammer fist. The guy that I rocked is coming to now, and I'm busy blocking his punches, and he shoots a takedown on me from the side. He gets me on the ground, and it's like it's pretty uh, prone to injury. Like you get taken down on like a floor and it's not a sports mat, okay? And so now I'm on the ground, taken down, resting. I'm getting kicked in the back of my head as I'm wrestling. Two people, I'm fighting two people. And eventually I kind of verbally tap out. I go, just fucking let me go, okay? Okay. Did I give up? Or something? Just let me go. I'm done, okay? And I stormed off with like tears in my eyes, if you'll beat or something. But it's the point. I would have won that fight if I wasn't as gracious as I was. Because punching the bully two times in the ear, they got him wrong. If I kept throwing punches, he'd go down, understand? Just because he's not a threat anymore, self defense. He pushed me as a stall, like he just react by throwing two punches. And then he stopped pushing or doing anything, just leave him alone. And then another person starts swinging on me, and I start blocking the punches. They will be more aggressive and be like, "Oh, he's wrong," throw more punches, knock him out. And if the other person throw punch, I punch back and fight. I was just working. Do you understand? So I wouldn't have won if I would try to win. I wouldn't have lost if I tried to win, but because I was trying to be measured and not break the law and stuff, I guess, type of fighting, I ended up losing the fight. To take like verbal tap on that, just let me go, okay? So uh, the walls are white, make it look like an isolated space was named Sabi. Well, yeah, what are the street observation? Okay, yes, they are white, okay, the walls are white, yeah. So, anyways, the point. I'm telling the story about bullying and how it's dangerous to bully people and personal experience fighting bullies physically, okay, and what might be taken to stop bullies, okay. So, another thing a person told me once that a person had been bullying them and they have walked up and put a knife to their throat. And that the bully had looked very scared and left the guy alone after that. Where they understand. As I heard the story told, maybe not be real, that another guy had been bullied and in his own home, and then went got a knife in the kitchen, walked back and put it to the throat of the bully very quick like this. And the person looked very scared and then kind of realized that it was dangerous to fuck with this person. Okay. So anyway, here's the point. So in high school, I was being bullied too, and I was a small kid. It was a big kid that was bullying me. It'd be like the experience would be like in the hallway. I was a late bloomer, small kid, and this bully was like a prep kid, or whatever. Like he had like expensive brand clothing and stuff, and he was like taller than me, and I was like a little traumatized, autistic foster home kid with cheap clothes and stuff like this. And he'd be like, Mike, look at his jacket or stuff like this as he passed me the hallways with his buttons and this. So eventually, after a while, I see him walking down the hallway again. A lot of times, as he sees me, he'll go like, or go like, look at my ugly clothes. Okay. And he's walking past me. I kind of play it cool. And as he's walking past me down the hallway, I did put my foot out to trip him, understand, to make him fall and then hit the ground, okay, to just trip him. So uh, he walks, I put my foot out, and he can't trip, what the hell? And I go running off, shoot is good, okay? Because I was looking to fight the bigger, three bigger guys right in there, okay? So it's like, I was hoping it's going to make him fall and be like, understand? But he kind of, oh, he didn't fall. So at which point I just run, understand? I just run off, and then, okay. And later on, he sees me in the school cafeteria. It's like I'm hanging out in the school cafeteria, and he's coming again with the vengeance now. And it takes me, like, pushes me against the wall and pins me. And I didn't know a lot of wrestling, I wasn't strong. So it's like wall wrestling, like he's pinning me against the wall and kind of roughing me up a little bit. And I didn't really know things like I did today. I know, so I can elbow strike from that position, even being pressed against the wall. I can throw body shots, go for the lead. I can nail the goal. There's like moves there, no, not that I had no concept of existing before. Because I'm just pinned against the wall by guys big and strong than me, and that's once like big and strong, but I didn't know any like equalizing techniques. I can drop my weight, go for his legs and pull on him. I can get him on the ground, or like just go elbow strike, surprise elbow strike as he's pinning me, or stuff like throwing punches to the body or whatever, like knee to the body. The things that I know when I moves that I could have pulled off if I knew them. Okay, but I remember like my neck was a little bit hurting after that because he pinned me against the wall. So the same guy. Later on, we had a home class, and it's like different kitchen islands, and they have a teacher going like how to manage your home. It's like teach you how to cook or stuff like this. It's like you pick a dish to cook for the home class and do it. And he had the kitchen island in front of mine, and he still had it like apologized to me and stopped bullying me. So we still had like bad blood in between us. Uh, and he's in front of me. The kids are in front of me. And I got like a big butcher knife there. And we cooking, okay? And then he kind of looks behind, and I'm just looking at him while holding the knife on his now. And he looks real scared and goes to teach him, Mike is supposed to be that for I'm not sure. I'm just cooking. I'm holding up for cooking. He said. But it's understand. So maybe he felt like I bullied this guy before. He's in the same room as me having a knife on him right now. What if he's mad about having abused him before and want to get even? But for some reason he felt endangered by that. Okay. And after that, all these things happened. After that, he stopped bullying me. Okay. Like he left me alone after this. Well, do you understand? He left me alone. Um, so I also had a pocket knife that a friend gave me while in foster home that I hid under the rug in the bedroom in my foster home. And I'm not saying that I had it in my pocket at times going to school, but I'm also saying that I wouldn't because it's illegal. So anyway, here's the point. So it's like here's the point, like a folding, like a titanium color knife, and things like this. And maybe the word got out that this guy has a knife on or something. That sometimes he goes to school, maybe I'll be playing with the whole way about it. But he might have realized that this guy's got a knife at home and possibly he'll be with him to school one of these days. And all things combined, he realized it wasn't better than he could believe me, understand? And unfortunately, it took the threat of violence and some attempts at hurting him physically for him to kind of dial down the bullying a little bit. Okay. So anyway, here's the point. Um, have you eaten? No. Did you have your morning coffee? Yes. Mike, your hair's grown longer. Yes, it has. Okay. So anyway, welcome to. Don't forget to click your like button. Thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the like button. Okay. To click your like button. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Don't forget to click the like button. Sorry if you're watching this. Okay. On the stream. So I'm not going live here to wait for comments and talk to people. People can leave comments, but I'm not here to do like honest interaction. I'm here to talk about bullying, violence, and how it's wrong to bully people. Okay. So I'm not. I also got some comments. I'm not gonna let that get me off track. I'm not gonna switch to like Mr. Nice Guy now and be focused on being polite. Here. I'm focusing on teaching how dangerous it is to fuck with me and other people. Okay, and it's not really that I'm focusing on having a good time with people in the chat right now. Okay, now she can write comments, but I'm not looking to turn the stream off rails of teaching what I'm teaching to just audience interaction. Okay, but so really welcome to my comments. I'm teaching on bullying from experience and how it's dangerous to bully people. Okay, is what I'm doing. Mike, first shave your beard. I already did. No, yeah, okay. Secondly, I already did the other day. I shaved my beard the other day. Okay, and I've been thinking about shaving my hair too. So we have students out. I have a student son. So I don't know if you have a big problem with bullying in Japan or not, but in Sweden and other places we have some bullying. I'm retorted by victim of hostage justice, Mikio Akike. Mikio-san, Mikio Akike-san. There's a Japanese guy that seems to be some kind of, he's related with him because that's some kind of activism. He's talked about some of his friends are victims of hostage justice in Japan. Mikio Akike-san. Okay. He's a Japanese YouTuber. He seems to be like a rebel type of activist guy where he's got leaflets and flyers and he goes like sometimes he goes live in our else and he goes somewhere and then he's handing out flyers and he also has a blog Rakuten and he makes videos about victim of hostage justice. He talks about some of his friends are victims of hostage justice in Japan. I don't know what that means, but it's like the vibe of it. I'm all for it, understand? So it's like anyway, his support. So yeah, if you're taught in the video, you're being bullied and worse. Okay. So what I would say is, I am strongly disencouraging bullying of any type in society, and I've realized that the people that get put up to bully me in my home, even they're delusional, sick freak fucking cult members. Because only a delusional fucking sick freak would take orders to fuck with someone like me in my own home, understand? It requires that you're delusional. It requires that you're not understanding just how dangerous it is to be doing that. Understand? Because no matter who you are, I don't have to make threats to make that a reality. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to be bullying people, period. Because bullying, psychological abuse, is a risk factor for people going psychotic, okay? See? Especially if it's somebody that already has emotional volatility issues, self control, impulse regulation issues, and sleep problems that the progress work to exacerbate and create as it is. This is a risk factor for a person getting psychotic if they already have a lot of stress in life and you're working to add to the stress with abuse and making them feel attacked by you while in close physical proximity. Okay? And you risk people getting psychotic, getting into a short term psychotic state. You risk people getting stressed and fight flight mode. If you're in the room with somebody and you're working to trigger fight flight mode in them, you're risking them getting fight flighting, which you understand. Just biology, crime statistics, known facts about biology, psychology. I don't have to over explain it to say that it's dangerous to be bullying people. It's dangerous for the bully, it's dangerous for the bully victim. You're risking things, okay? You're also risking legal consequences that ultimately live in a country that's not tyrannical and they have laws to make it legal to bully people, and you're risking legal consequences of being arrested for your crimes, understand? So now I've realized that from by experience and research that to get these people to target me with bullying, the people that are agents that target me with bullying in the supermarket, in my home, it's happened elsewhere. They're delusional cult members. They're brainwashed cult members. So why would I be surprised if they can be brainwashed into believing that they're not in danger of bullying me in my own home or something like this? If they're already delusional enough and part of a cult to begin with, show that they're vulnerable to gaslighting, like a trash. It's like they're the type of person that can be brainwashed into being part of a secret army, harassing people, abusing people, bullying people secretly. And it's like we can't tell other people outside the world about this, but we in the court, we know that we're doing something good that has to be covered up and kept secret. That is hurting people, but it's something good and it's not something wrong with doing. And the people doing it to deserve it for the greater good we're doing this, okay? They're already delusional, okay? So it's not that much of a leap to get them to feel like you don't have to worry about Mike Sapp pulling a knife and stab you to death if you fucking with him in his own home, or him uh, just just moving at you, start swinging and throwing kicks and punches and kicks and fucking smashing your brain in. Okay, you don't have to worry about something like that happening because he's a fucking pussy scared of you. He would never dare to try to fight you. If he tried to, he wouldn't have a chance to hurt you physically. See, he couldn't harm a fly if he wanted to, and he would never try to harm a fly because he's scared of flies. And if he tried, the fly would beat his ass or something like this. So I'm not threatening anything. What I'm saying is they had to be told that there's no chance that I would stand up to them physically, and or that if I did, they wouldn't, I wouldn't have a chance to harm them, which is once again a delusional cult because they're delusional fucks, okay? Because anybody, like a police officer, anybody trained and experienced in violence, like a person who's like a UFC fighter or a security nightclub bouncer or a police officer, they wouldn't feel, I wouldn't have to try to convince them that it's dangerous to bully somebody because they know this like, well, they used to have a 21-foot rule in America, where it's like even cops that had guns on them, they'd be like trained to be like, if you're within like 21 feet of a knife attack, and it turns the corner and charge you with a knife, most likely be able to stab you, slash you at least once before you have your gun out and it's shooting you. Okay, meaning from having the weapon out in your hands to oh, this guy coming up with a knife and going for getting a weapon out to shoot him. He's already been stabbing you several times before you even have the weapon out to try to shoot him and put and not get him to understand. It's something called a 21-foot rule. Okay, now the gang stalkers are not trained police officers, trained and experienced in violence, having a gun covered killing that they've been trained in weapon deployment with, and hitting the shooting range on a monthly basis to the actual bullets in this. And that's stronger than the average person in this. Okay. Yet still, you can have out of shape, disgusting freak, soft perps that are physically inferior to me. Just out of shape, softer, out of shape, weaker, less trained. And they still have the goal to be like pushing my borders and fucking with me more home when I have several weapons in my home. And I control when they are, where they are. I control the environment. Meaning I can have, do you understand? I know where the weapons are, where they're not. I can put weapons somewhere. So in case these people go from verbal abuse to physical attacks on me, they justify self-defense by me pulling a knife on them. I could. Okay. Now, just just the risk factor involved in bullying somebody repeatedly, it's just a risk, no matter who you do it to. Like meaning, even if I was the smallest guy who's fat, out of shape, sick and tired, completely untrained, just the fact that I could have a knife on me makes me dangerous to anybody that you understand. So, I don't care if you're bigger, there's more of you, you're a cop, you'll be in danger. Okay, you'll be in danger. If I pull a weapon on you, and I only do it if it's legal, because I'm not threatening to do that. Nice point. Yeah, so I'm gonna poke holes in some lies that these game stalking perps get told to get them to keep bullying people like me. And one of the things they might do is like, oh yeah, we're delusional, Mike. You're interfering with our ability to abuse you all the time by talking about how dangerous it is. Mike, we don't like how you make videos like this because it's making it hard for us to recruit people to abuse and bully and violate you and make you feel really angry. Okay? You interfere with that by making videos like this. You make it harder for us to keep recruiting people to take orders to get in your home and fuck with your own home and to stalk in the supermarket and harass you. You interfere with that. You make it harder for us to keep recruiting people in the city to abuse and bully you by making videos like this. Great, okay. Great, okay. That's great. That's great, okay. That I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. So, um, Mike, did you hurt your hand? Yes, tis but a scratch, but a flesh wound. Okay. Tis but a scratch. Okay, it's just a little. It's very little. It's just a little scratch. But I like to clean it and cover it to help it to heal well. So, anyway. Oh, Mark, I've had gang stalkers try to make videos like this before. Cyber stalker in the chat. They'd be like, we would overpower you. We, who are you? It looks like they talk for the program, see, mouthpiece for the program. That it's like, oh no, we don't like Mike talking about this. He's heard of the delusion, the perps. We would overpower you. Okay. I dissolve you or something like this. When I talk about life and martial arts. It's like, okay. Did you know who the fuck are you, bitch? Okay. Bully. They have this series down there, okay? 6 martial artists locked with a knife attacker. They have 6 like pro-level martial artists as a challenge, getting like a locked cage. And there's a guy that's got a knife. And I don't think it was one of them that was able to disarm the guy or keep him from connecting at least once with the knife. Okay. And with a knife, one stab into your body or slash is all it takes for you to die. It's potentially fatal. Okay. And if not potentially fatal, it's life changing, life altering injuries. I mean, if you get stabbed in the shoulder, best case scenario, not the neck. If the guy goes for your neck and he does get you in the neck, he gets in the shoulder, you're gonna have a scar there. You might have a bad shoulder for the rest of your life where you can't move your arm really well. Understand? Whereas like you can't, your arm is bad. You can have nerve damage, muscle fiber cut off, something like that. You might have an infection that requires you to amputate the arm because you're being stabbed through your clothes, and it might be bacteria. Maybe the knife was dirty, your clothes is dirty, and you have an infection, and the doctors tell we got to cut off your arm, and you walk around with this one arm. From just one stab landing the arm, you're risking that. Okay, and then especially if, like the bone is exposed, it gets stabbed into the bone, so it's a breach into the bone. So there's if you get stabbed in the eye, the guy goes for a stab to your face, and it gets your eye. You might lose an eye, and you only have one eye for the rest of your fucking life. Now, understand? If that's just the one lick you got in, and not like 20 stabs after you came close enough to connect once, but it just hits you in the eye once. Now you got one eye for the rest of your life, okay? And like a scar, and looking even uglier than you did before, okay? It's a one slash. See, just if you get it one slash, you might have a scar across your whole face for the rest of your life. Okay, and then people go, "Well, what happened?" I got a guy attacked with a knife. Thankfully, I survived, but he cut me in the face. Okay, um, there's a lot of things that can happen. You can lose your nose, so it's like that is very dangerous, very dangerous. I'm going to take a bath, so I leave from it. Okay, okay. Welcome to the stream, Studio Sound and Solution. Okay. Now this is kind of like a video where I make a video about things that I'm upset and angry about, which means I'm not looking. Normally, people like usual, I'm kind of polite and friendly and kind of end up having like a cracking jokes up. It's like I'm talking about a serious issue here that I'm seriously serious about, and okay. So maybe you like the other strings a bit more than this one. You might like the other strings a bit more than this one. Okay. So nothing I've said in this video is to take as a threat or anything like this. It's like this passionate, but I'm talking about how dangerous it is to bully people. And sometimes it starts with verbal bullying and goes to physical bullying. And sometimes people get bullied. They find out where you live and show up on the station, knock on your door. Oh, you got a husband and kids at home? They're gonna have to see me confront about what you've been doing as a bully. You risk many things. If you want these people that bully me, or other people tell me those, what if the target finds out who you are, where you live, and show up one of these days when he's expecting on the door and ask why you've been bullying them or something like this? Or figure out where your kids go to school and call the school and ask, hey, I want to talk to the principal. Do you know that this guy's kids, they're bullying? Because maybe CPS needs to be called on it. Okay? Because if you're abusing autistic people for the government, you can't be trusted not to abuse your own children, understand? A lot of times people are abusers, they're not abusing people generally. So would you like it if I figure out who you are, where you live, and start knocking live on the internet to confront what it says? You're one of these people that have been bullying me. Or if I figure out who you are and contact your kid's school, or your husband at work, or your wife at work, and things like this. Would you like that? And just tell them the truth. Yeah, your husband is bullying people, or your wife is bullying people, autistic people. You know about that. Would you like it if I make a group on Flashback Forum, or like an immigrant faces of perps in Oxford and put you on blast? Okay. Now I'm not going to talk about the stream, but it's like I can use screens from my live streams and be like, this person could talk for the game stalking program. And the word might get out about that. Okay. So there's many consequences I have the power to inflict upon people to bully me for this program. Okay. And not limited to physically standing up to them if needs be legally. But there's things you can do. There's many things you can do. Okay. So I would say this: beware of bullying people and believing lies. Okay. Beware of bullying people and believing lies. So we're gonna look at this. So, to all of you that have a delusional mentality, it's like, oh, Mike, if I'm bullying people and the guy who gets bullied, I'm not saying somebody should, okay? But it's like, if you're part of a group of bullies that keep picking on a person, I'm telling you, by experience, I got bullied as a kid and it made me start packing a knife, okay? And I was thinking about pulling the bullies a few times. As like a teenager, hypothetically that happened. So, by experience and research, bullying is a risk factor for violence according to the crime statistics. A lot of violence has happened, fights, stabbings, and stuff, school shootings by people being bullied before that happened. Okay. So I know that bullying people is a risk factor for violence happening in society. So I'm from that purpose alone, I'm saying don't bully people. Okay. And people watch this go, I would love bullying people. And if the bully victim starts carrying a knife, I'm not worried about them pulling it because I think I could disarm them or something like this. And like most of those people will be out of shape, soft people. They're not like in fighting shape. They're not like built like a pro boxer or something like this, or a UFC fighter. They're not that trained. It's like most of the bullies are gonna be like average people, out of shape and soft and untrained and as it is. So first of all, don't bully people. If you're a bully victim, don't attack the bullies physically. But if you're a bully, now if they attack you physically, right to self-defense. The Bible also calls self-defense use of weapons. Okay. And sometimes legally carrying a weapon can be a deterrent against bullying. It can be enough that people bully someone and they learn that the person is covert carrying a weapon, and they suddenly start feeling uncomfortable by provoking the person and abusing them working to make them feel incredibly hurt. Okay. See, there's a well, okay. Now, if you're the type of special type of cult brainwashed weirdo, it's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna keep bullying people. And I don't worry about if the guy will go nuts and pull a knife on me one of these days. Because I could just disarm them. Reality check. Okay. This is a reality check video. You think you do better than six knife martial artists. There's a series here. Six knife martial artists locked with a knife attacker. Six martial artists locked with a knife attacker. Six fighters. Okay. And these are not your average Joe or James. They are like a Walmart American, or it's like the average Joe that's like out of shape, untrained, soft, lazy, and they like couldn't throw a good punch. It's like people are out of shape, like average Joes and James. These are people that are training thousands of hours. They've been training. They're in shape, a lot of them, and some of them are even like professional combat sports athletes, and they weren't able to keep themselves from getting stabbed by a guy in the room trying to stab them with a knife. But it's like you're so delusional, some of you, that you think that you would succeed when these people fail. Even though you're less in shape, you're more out of shape than they are, less trained, you're slower, fatter, softer, more of a coward, less experienced in violence, less trained, and but you think that you've
I
been.
see the guys coming out of their exhaust spent. They just stabbed me a bunch. After that, I was pretty upset with myself.
That's Jeff Chan, and that's hard to hurt, a YouTuber that makes videos on like self-defense with weapons and without weapons and martial arts in general.
Exponentially harder. He buckles, and it just got seconds. They will start. Seconds starts now.
So in the bottom right corner, this says stab slash camera. Okay. Now remember, it's like I'm not Mr. Nice Guy soft here. It's like I'm not promoting violence, calling for it, promoting it, or breaking the law. I'm not glorifying either. So what is the thrust of this video? It's bullying is bad, and if you bully people, you risk violence happening. You risk a person snapping and going ballistic. You risk a person hurting themselves or others, or trying to. And if they try, statistically they're not likely to succeed in hurting. Okay? You risk legal consequences, or you should at least. So if you bully people, you increase statistically the likelihood that the bully victim will want to attack you physically, with or without a weapon. There's no facts, crime statistics, psychology, biology, okay, and like history, where it's like yeah. So don't bully people, not just because it's wrong, but also because you're hurting people that you're bullying, and you risk being hurt, or you risk somebody else being hurt. So don't bully people. And I've actually had bullies for tell like where it's like I am armed, and if I get bullied and I get attacked physically by bullies, I'm ready and able to use legal self-defense. Okay, and I have the right to have knives in my hand. So in case somebody comes to attack me, I might need to pull a knife, and I have the legal right to use it to defend myself. And then they'll go like, "I will disarm you. We would overpower you. Okay, you wouldn't have a chance. I disarm or something like this." So to people that are delusional, here's the reality of life, fighting. And this is like a usable for teaching. We have six martial artists. There's a challenge here. It's like, let's test how effective martial arts can be against a knife attacker. And they have six like high level martial artists. And one guy's got the job like a fake rubber training knife, like a knife, to like come at him. And their job is to try to protect himself from the guy attacking them. And 100% of them got stabbed with the knife. Okay. Whereas people tell me, Mike, if I try to kill you in the redneck with a knife, I will disarm you. Whereas these pro martial artists, not one of them succeeded in, if the guy came out with a knife not one of them succeeded in getting the guy to not connect with this one stab or slash. And most of them got stab slash more than once, okay? And one slash or stab is all it takes to create life-altering injuries or life-ending ones, okay? And in the bottom right corner, there's a stab slash meter, which means they're counting, I guess, like boxing, where like they play the replay and count like hits. Okay, so they've been counting how many slash and stabs he connects with. And they even have like their own sound to it. This is the fun of it.
And they're gonna go all Jordan Chow sewing machine style. I'm gonna get lit up here and it's gonna suck.
20 seconds starts now.
So first guy's already been stabbed 2 times. Okay, the guy we saw before with the ball haircut, and he's a pro, not pro, he's some kind of martial artist. Okay, so he's in better shape than average person and more trained than average person. So all you delusional people think when you watch a video about some medical knife disarm technique, was like I can't stab with a knife, just do this, or something like this. Well, not necessarily. Also, overconfidence and being delusional kills. Violence kills. So sometimes psychological violence begets physical violence, and sometimes physical violence kills. Okay, and sometimes physical violence begets physical violence, and physical violence kills once more. So it's very dangerous. So here's the thing. You're more likely to be doing things that are dangerous if you have a false sense of security as you do them. Meaning, if you're bullying somebody that has a knife on them, and you delusionally think that they would never pull it on, there's no chance. They wouldn't dare to. And if they did, you could disarm them and they wouldn't have a chance to hurt you. You're more likely to keep provoking them, push their boundaries, and like act as if you're trying to make them pull the knife on you or something like this. Do you understand? And you will be less likely, if you realize how dangerous it is, you'd be less likely to want to push the boundaries and abuse them and provoke them and bully them if you understood how dangerous it actually is, rather than believing lies that somebody told that they would never dare to try to hurt you. We got control them. We told them this, or yeah, he would never try. He would never dare. I mean, the gang stalker employer has told me not to make videos like this. Apparently, they don't follow my behavior. Okay, perhaps. I've been told they don't like me making videos like this. They don't control my behavior. I understand and tell you some things. It's like the gap with the back and call, they control me like they control you. I'm not a bitch dog freak like you are that has a hand, okay? I'm not a disgusting, subhuman, disgusting freak piece of shit like you that is like beneath the level of dignity, where it's like you're like a fucking Nazi witch hunt person. There's a delusional fucking freak cult. I'm not like you, I'm better than you. Understand? So that other, maybe you can sense they have some pent up anger about being abused by people. It kind of comes out sooner or later, some way, shape, or form. If you feel like that, yes, okay. And I share a lot of that into videos and productive endeavors, okay. So my point is this: uh, don't bully people. If you bully, don't attack the bully physically. But as a public service, I make this video to let people know: don't bully people. Period. And on top of this, saying that is wrong, it's also dangerous because you have several historical examples where people bully a person. They write a manifesto up on the news that they did a mass stab and mass shooting, and they will go, "We were being bullied. I was being bullied," but they give us the reason. Okay. And several times it happened in America that people get bullied in school, and the bully victim attacks the bully, and it leads to bad things. So, unfortunately, as I said before, healthy adults don't need to be told that it's like, don't bully people because it's wrong. That children, little children, have to be told and taught by their parents what boundaries are, and have to be trained and taught not to overstep boundaries. Okay, and they do boundary testing, and then they also have to be trained and taught bullying is wrong. Okay, don't bully people; it's bad. Okay, so now people are not healthy people. It's not enough to tell them bullying is wrong. They might have to be made aware of another angle, that it's dangerous for them. They risk being hurt legally, physically. They are risky involved that nobody has to threaten them for that to be true. But there's statistically these risk factors involved with bullying people. Okay, you risk a fight happening. Even without weapons, you risk a street fight happening. And people die in street fights all the time. I don't even have to use the knife example. But if you bully people, that's a risk factor for violence. A lot of times it happens, somebody starts picking on somebody else in school or something, and bullying somebody is a risk factor for a fight. Okay, a lot of fights happen with fighting words, where somebody attacks another person. Well, there's a fight, and people die in street fights all the time. This is also something I don't have to teach people as some experience, understanding of violence, that it's dangerous to get in fights. Okay, it's not that the only thing you're risking is getting humiliated and your ass beat in front of people. Um, you're also risking death. It happens all the time. People go to prison for manslaughter because they start a fight. They punch a guy goes out, falls and hits his head on the concrete on the floor and dies. Okay. And they go to prison for manslaughter. So a lot of street fights that end with death and somebody go to prison. Okay. And what is a risk factor? A common cause for street fights happen is bullying of some kind before the fight happened. So I don't know how much I had to do disclaimers here. I'm not calling for violence, promoting violence. I'm not promoting for bully victims to get even physical bullies. But what I'm looking to do is to prevent bullying, to make people stop bullying others by reminding people that it's dangerous and bullying leads to bad outcomes. It's not limited to the bully victim feeling bad. That's not the only evil that can come from bullying. It's not just limited to the bullied person feeling bad and suffering psychologically. It risks hurting others. Okay. So, and on the top of this, I've had bullies tell me that it's like kind of response me talk about, I have the right to have weapons on my home. So I have the right to have a knife on my home. Okay. Several knives if I want to. I can have 6 knives on my home if I want to. I can have a machete on my side. I can have whatever. I can have a sword. That's legal. Okay. In certain situations, it'd be legal for me to pull it and use it to defend myself. Okay. According to Swedish law. Um, and I had people go like for the gang stalking program, cyber stalk, but we don't care. We attack you. You didn't have a chance. Okay, I dissolve myself for this. It's a bitch, please. Okay. Bitch, please. Bitch, please. Really? Okay. Really.
Hands on!
Another topic I might make a video on is the narcissistic psychopathic mirror attack by the deep state power elites. And one of the attacks is name mirroring. Where they be like, if they're sending agents into life, they send agents with the same name as you into life. Something like this, a deep state. I'm not joking. This is like real intelligence, intel. Meaning Being a total deep sea, I noticed how they use agents with the same name as me to infiltrate my family, for example. Do you understand? That's like the narcissistic psychopathic name mirroring. It's a certain type of mirroring where they have like, we're gonna send some agent into Mike's life. Let's find a guy with the name Mike and send it into his life because that's his name. Okay, but that's a completely different topic.
2 seconds starts now.
Clearly evident in our challenge.
Yeah, so basically, I watched this before. Not one of them, martial artists that are not the average show. So there are six martial artists. At least one of us a combat athlete, competition level. Not one of them were able to stop a guy coming with a knife and stab him at least once. And most of them got stabbed repeatedly more than once. Okay. Despite them being faster, more trained, better shaped than the average person, harder, better, faster, stronger than the average person, more trained. But they were still, and better thrown kicks and punch, they were still unable to stop the knife attack from starting and stab him at least once. Okay. So a knife is a great equalizer because like knife, like guns, you say seven Colt. God created man, Colt make all men equal, whatever the saying is. Okay. A knife is a great equalizer, meaning it if you're a small woman, you got a knife, a bigger dude is still more dangerous for him to like attack you physically. Because if you have a knife in your hand, it's a lot more dangerous. A person like me, I got punching power, I got knockout power. I can kick hard, I can elbow, I can break I can break your face with elbow strikes and stuff. It's that I'm just not just all talk and go wash my training shoes. I got punching power, speed, kicks, elbow strike, and all kinds of stuff. So now a woman is like small, petite, and can't throw punches well, so for this. Then equalizes, she got a knife, and her hand might be more dangerous than my they understand a guy can hit hard. A small woman with a small hand holding a small knife can still be about as dangerous, if not more, than like Mike Tyson in his prime. Understand? Because it's like that hand is out more dangerous holding a blade. Understand? Now, it's a point. It's a beauty of it. It's the beauty of it. To those of you that tell me you're gonna have gangsters come into my house and bully me, you know what, bitch? I can have knives all in my home legally. You know that, huh? I can have knives on me legally. I don't have to break the law. I can have knives in my home legally, according to Swedish law. But if somebody will get into my home with a knife, any type of weapon, they're breaking the law. See, so I can legally have knives on me in my home. I can have knives in my home without breaking the law. It's Swedish law. I'd love it if they let me have guns and stuff legally too, but they don't. Okay, but in Sweden, I can legally have knives on me in home. But here's the tyranny. I can't bring knives on me out in public. Sweden's law, you can't have a baton, pepper spray, a knife, nothing leaving your home in public. Nothing that's a weapon. You can't have like you look for like a Kubaton karate stick online. You can't have that in public. Anything that is a weapon or marketed as such, you can't bring which in public. Okay, so that's kind of beautiful because in my home I can have weapons legally, like specific ones, knives. But anybody leaving their home with a weapon on them, a knife or a baton, they're breaking the law just by leaving their home, going out in public with a weapon on them. Now, if they would bring a weapon into my home, that looks like intent to murder me or attack me or something like this, which means, what if I pull a knife and stab you, well, and you get found to have lethal weapon on you? Maybe I was acting self-defense. That I was discovered that you had a weapon on you going into my home illegally, and that might look like you're fixing to attack me with it. Okay, so do you understand? Do you understand? So don't fuck around, don't find out, bitch. Don't fuck around, bitch. You don't risk finding out. Sometimes people fuck around and find out, oh my God, I'm going to come to your house, break into your house, and I have a weapon on me. Okay, I might have a right to pull a weapon and then attack you with it in self-defense. Okay. Now, Bible local laws got self-defense instructions sometimes. Okay. So I'm not joking. It's like maybe I should bring up screenshots of some of the comments I reacted to I got all the time. Where it's like, Mike, it's our congregation, this and this. So I actually had somebody threaten me on TikTok once that they want to wait to my house if I can't get me. I didn't start panicking, start crying. I put on my armor, got my spear, and I was sitting here waiting to unalive that motherfucker, but it didn't show up. Okay, tough guy, okay. But it's like, I'm supposed to be scared. I'm coming to your house. I'm on my way over now to write my address. I'm like 10 minutes away from it. And what I did is I got my spear, my body armor, on top of the knife that I have on me. And I have other shit at home too, on Leo. And I called the cops and I waited for the guy to show up. Like, this guy said he's on the way over here to attack me right now. Okay. And why does that make sense? What if the guy showed up and I stabbed him to death? Slaughtered him, slapped off it. I slaughtered him like a little slaughter victim, okay? Because he was attacking me, okay? And the cops show up and it's like, Your Honor, what happened, Mike? Well, the guy said he was going to come kill me. When he shows up, I'm thinking he's fixed to kill me. I use weapons to defend myself. They go like, if you were really in fear of your life, why didn't you call the cops first and go and ask them for help? Like, if you really were in fear of your life and that's why you speak about for this person, why wouldn't you call the cops first and go like, hey, this is the guy trying to kill me or he's saying come to get me? Okay, why didn't you call the cops if you were worried this guy was going to attack you? So it doesn't look like you really were thinking that this guy was going to kill you. And that's why you used self-defense because you hadn't called the cops first. So I called the cops. I had my spear, my body armor, and I was here sitting waiting for that bitch. I didn't like that motherfucker. I sent him to hell. Most likely lost person. I was ready to send that fucking lost soul to hell and unalive the little whore. You're gonna threaten my life, understand? Okay, you don't get to threaten my life, understand? Okay. So, but he didn't show up and get unalive that night, okay? But he could have, okay? But he didn't, okay? Coward. I guess he needs to have 6 bodies with him, a machine gun or something that is, okay? So whatever, here's the point. What a fucking disgusting piece of shit. And most likely he was one of the disciples that got told by the program to start threatening on TikTok. That's part of gang stalking, okay? So, and that's another warning. I'm ready to end your fucking life. Don't come around my house. This is the wrong tree to walk up, understand? I'm not one of these people that it is like because I'm a streamer that you can prank me, go up and like ring my doorbell, and I'm gonna be like, oh, that's a fun prank, you know? No. I get in mood sometimes, okay? And I have all kinds of shit for your ass, I understand, that I've been training to use on like all your ass, understand? And it's like, I'm ready to defend myself ferociously, understand? And I don't have any, I'm not one of these pussies that it's like Christian, I don't know if I can bring myself to kill someone. I see them online sometimes talking about self-defense, home defense, or like, what if burger scenarios like Christian forms of it. I don't know if I can bring myself to kill somebody to bring them to my home in the middle of the night. Okay, it's like I don't know if I can bring myself not to understand. So I don't. That's the problem I don't have. Okay, it's like I believe you forfeit the right to live once you show up in my home intent to do me harm. As far as I'm concerned, ethically, I believe that you forfeited your right to remain alive once you step over my threshold into my home and you start working to harm me in a certain way. And I'm not talking about like I don't know, there's a plumber who looks rude or something like this. We're talking about people coming to attack, you understand? And there's gonna be certain types of coming and certain types of attacking that will give me the right to edge your life, understand? Okay. And I wouldn't have a problem with it. Okay. So there's a problem like a soft sissy culture now, where people are like, oh, whatever. And some countries are crazy. Sweden is not some great country like America with the Second Amendment. It's getting worse and worse with it too. Uh, but at least there's still a little bit of rights that you have. Meaning to defend your home, your body, and things like this. Now that you're limited, you can't have a rocket launcher or like a tank or a gun or something like this. I can have spears, I can have a bow, I can have all kinds of stuff. So it's like this legal weapons, and that's the only ones that I have. Okay. So anyway, that's a reality check. Now I gotta check the comment section here. Back to comments. Um, Studio sound wrote, I'm scrolling down. I get to your Hatfield. Okay, I got a background here unaddressed comments. Studio wrote PM 2238. Okay, Wakarumas in Japan. Okay, in Sweden, Swedish timer 1553. Okay, Hatfield. So anyway, thanks to Sabiri and Studio Sound for showing up. Okay, I almost got a little bit. I was working too. I'm dealing with a topic that's upsetting to me, and it's like whatever. So it's almost got like it's like I know I'd be like kind of pleased to see these people at least a little bit and be friendly and have some good time, crack some jokes here. But it's like, no, I'm not doing that. It's like, I'm okay. This is what we're doing now. I'm like, okay. So, anyways, hey, Mike, good to see you, brother. What the hell you call? Uh, yeah, Hatfield looks kind of reasonable. Hatfield, yeah, man, a knife is not going to walk away on the home. Uh, absolutely virtuous. What about a pen on it? Well, a pen, they say that the pen is mightier than the sword. Okay. Now, sometimes the sword is useful than the pen. Okay. I mean, the US Constitution was penned, see. And look at all the mighty effects of people using the pen to draft up the Constitution. See. Look at how mighty the effects have been. Okay. Of America having at least a good one. Okay. And everything else that happened. In this day and age, all of our homes should be set up as a defensive position. Amen to that. Yeah, yeah. Well, if it could be an hour before the chef can make it out this far. Yeah, and that reminds me of growing up as a kid. I grew up, as I talked about before, a little bit of sharing some tough guy stories of confronting bullies and punching and pulling classes, things like this. But part of before you should have us talk about growing up in a rural neighborhood. And on the topic, this video has been about like bullying, that it's dangerous to bully people, and that some people are delusional that it's like they could bully people, and if the bullied victim pulls a knife because they crossed the line and that stuff. There's certain cases where if you bully somebody and it becomes physical, like you're a big dude and you start shaking, go around, smacking, punching, or something like this, if you could pull a knife, in some places it'd be legal for him to even use it on a situation like that. And there might be some bully like, well, I don't care if the guys that I've been bullied like this somebody carry a knife. I'm still gonna bully him, and if he pulls an out, I just go like a kung fu movie and it just get out of his head. And he just got no chance to poke with that thing, understand? And I don't care about the bully's safety. That's how I'm making these videos. I care about making bullies realize that it is dangerous to bully people. You risk legal consequences, physical consequences, all kinds of consequences. And I'm concerned about bullying stopping. I'm not a bully, I don't bully people. But I'm working about that, hey, bullying people is dangerous for you and others. And that might be the only thing that helps. Because bullies are not people like, apparently they don't have a human conscience. Apparently they're not fully adult and mature. Because healthy people don't go around bullying people, need to be told not to do that because it's wrong to do. Okay. So unfortunately, one of the only things that can like help the problem of bullying in society is people realizing that there's consequences to risk. Like fuck around and find out the guy might risk getting punched in the mouth by the guy in the bully. They risk worse. They risk prison, depending on where you are. They risk this and that. So I'm not threatening to attack my bullies or pull a knife on anybody. I'm not saying other bully victims should. I'm not a fucking victim, by the way, okay? But I am looking to have people realize that bullying is bad, risky, and it's bad for everybody. Okay. There's no virtuous bullying. Okay. You never have Christian disciples told by Jesus to be like, okay, I'm about to leave now. Pick up your stuff and look for people to bully. Start harassing people, Christians. That no. There's nothing in the Bible where God told Christians, like the early church or after that, to be like, go find bad people and start harassing and bullying them. Or like even people are not bad, but not even bad people. Was like, hey, Christians should be out here harassing people that are not Christians and bad or something like this, and bully them and pick on them and stuff like this. As a matter of fact, Jesus told us to get a sword. So that reminds me of what Hatfield said, where he lives. It's about an hour, it might be an hour from the chef getting to you. That's what I was like when I was growing up, before I got to foster home. So I grew up in a rural community, like a small village, okay, for many years. And it was about, the response time was about an hour. And it happened a few times that somebody needed to call an ambulance in that village, or the cops or for this. And it would take up to an hour before the shop if you're lucky, understand. It could even happen that, now this is back before the GPS system. It would happen at least once, then they will tell us, because after it was immersed in the village and somebody called the EMS and they couldn't find it, it took a long time. That is like they had the coordinates on the map so you could tell them that, because for some reason they have a hard time finding a way out there. So it's like people over the kitchen, like the coordinates, like X, Y, whatever, so they can go and tell what the coordinates are to the place. Because if you just go to the neighborhood, for some reason they're going to have an easy time finding it to begin with and a long way to drive. So where I live now, it's like I'm less than what is it called, bird's eye. Like if I would draw a straight line on the map to the police station, I'm not talking about by road because you go left and right and stuff like this. I might be less than 5 kilometers away from a police station. Yeah, for sure, it's less than 5 kilometers. Uh, and if the cops right now, I mean, if I was break the law like right now, and but I have to use an analogy as an example. But it's like if right now I would have like a rocket launcher here and it like start shooting the stuff, and the cops get called, they could be here in less than 90 seconds if they needed to. Meaning parked outside my house, less than 90. They could. I also had to think about what type of call. Okay, so it's like, okay, and then I had the other things. So anyway, it's a point. Anyway, here's the point. Yeah, that was the same when I was a kid. Growing up in the village, about an hour. If you're lucky for the cops to get there. And there's another saying: when seconds matter, help is minutes away. And that's kind of best case scenario because sometimes it can be an hour away. But when seconds matter, help can be minutes away. So that's the same reason that I promote. It's like people should be armed and dangerous, okay? And I'm a proponent of people being as armed and dangerous as they can be legally, okay? As a way to protect human life and as a preventative to tyranny. I've said it before. What I teach is a man should be about as armed and dangerous as he legally can be where he lives, not just to protect himself, but as a preventative against tyranny happening and getting worse. And that's not really radical. That I'm right up the lane of the founding fathers there, because that's what they believed. Why do you think you have the Second Amendment, the American Constitution, right to bear arms? Because they were like, well, first of all, humans need weapons so they can hunt and stuff, and like home defense and stuff, and self defense against like robbers showing up to take the stuff and rape the wife and stuff. They need to have. Do you understand? Like back in America, it was never like clean. You still have people who are like bandits. They might show up in the middle of the night and they're gonna get your stuff and do bad things to you. Okay, so they were for that for self defense, but also for self defense against tyrants. So the Constitution, the right to bear arms, it was never intended to protect skeet shooting, like sports shooting. The founding fathers didn't put it in law that the right to bear arms shall not be infringed upon. Okay, they didn't put it there so the Americans can have skeet shooting and hunt deer and stuff. Okay, for that, yeah, but that wasn't the main purpose. Um, they had it there so that if a tyrant takes over America, that people can fight back and take back the country. And also as a preventative, meaning, do you understand? It's kind of like, let's say if Biden had turned tyrannical, where it started out being just sucking generally to like to turn into Hitler, like alternate history. If Biden, when he was in charge, would turn into Hitler, and it'd be like, we're putting all the black people in camps, okay? See? And he starts sending out cops to pick up black people to take them to FEMA camps and gas them to that stuff like this. I'm not saying FEMA camps are doing that now, but like hypothetically, okay. The right to bear arms is so like if every black household, every black man has a firearm, cop show up to get him in a camp and murder me there, he can defend himself. And it'd be a lot harder to get like the Holocaust 2.0 happening against any minority if a lot of people are armed in the country. Understand? Tyrants always seek to disarm the public. Look at North Korea, other countries. Tyrants always seek to disarm the public. Okay? So it's kind of, notice how this is like generally kind of micro, macro, nano scale. Well, I'm a person that with bullying, and I've noticed that when I get armed, the bullies stop bullying me sometimes. Okay, that from life experience. Um, that's the same thing at a larger scale. Founding fathers bullied by the British don't want to be bullied and abused by tyrants, abused, and they're like, yeah, we need to have weapons and be dangerous so that the bad people feel like it's dangerous to pick on us, and that might keep them from starting to pick on us. And if they still pick on us, we have an ability to fight back. Understand? So yeah, I'm all about. Now, I'm not crazy, okay? Meaning, I live in Sweden, so I don't go. Well, I agree with the constitution, right, to bear arms. So I'm gonna get like a machine gun and have it at home illegally because I believe I have the right to my gun or something like this. Okay, that's a different level, okay? But it's like, uh, yeah, I enjoy being about as armed and dangerous as I possibly can be. Hatfield, an armed society is a polite society. If people know you're armed, they don't want to go against a hard target. They want an easy target. Yes, okay. Yeah, yeah. Now here's what I'm talking about. Um, which is why, if you're gonna get people to bully someone like me or like get into my house and start attacking me, I guess you have to talk them into like, well, he would never use the weapons that he has, and even if he did, he couldn't be effective with them or something like this, which is just delusional. Okay. Yeah, so I really don't like the way like when I make videos on like radical topics. I'm a radical person, so any video that I make is gonna be radical by itself. Understand? It's like I'm not a normie. I don't believe what the average person believes on health, fitness, the V word, V for victory. Okay, like I don't really agree with this guy. What's the guy's name? Churchill. Okay, yeah. So yeah. Speak of which, they had a school shooting in Sweden not too long ago. And I don't think the guy was one of these people that he had like he did that because he went nuts or be bullied or something like this. But I think he might have been some kind of like the official story might be was like a radical that was against immigration or something like this. And, but I don't know, but some kind of ideological motivated allegedly. Okay. Uh, And I predicted that the Swedish Prime Minister, like the ruling party, would go like use this crisis. So as after that happened, I remember on a TikTok stream or here on Rumble or something, was like, yeah, so the reason was a school shooting. Let's see how long it takes until they're calling for more gun control. And I was talking about how either this was a false flag, like that the deep state used a patsy or something, that the deep state did this, and then proper action solution use it to have even more severe gun laws or never let a good crisis go to waste. Where it's like something happened and let's capitalize on it. Okay, let's something actually did happen. It wasn't us that caused it, but let's use it to push for more gun control. So, but one of the things that they called for was now they have like sports shooting clubs, and they can get a license for an AR-15 for sports shoot like IPCC or whatever, certain types of shooting competitions, and like semi-autos. Some hunters can have semi-autos. I didn't look into too much, but they were like, yeah, we're banning guns even more now. So it's like before that, it was like, yeah, some people can get an AR-15 for sports shooting or something like this. But it's like now, no AR-15s period after this. Okay. It's just this. Yeah. So what Halfie McCoy say is correct. People want an easy target, a soft target. And a gun is a great equalizer too, or a knife. They're similar in a way. Understand? They're similar in a way. The main advantage of a firearm is the range advantage that it affords you, meaning the ability to engage a target at a distance. That's the main advantage of the firearm, the range advantage, that you can engage targets at a distance. And also, people that are and it's like here, weapons and the threat of violence, meaning an armed person is kind of like a walking threat of violence. Do you understand? It's like it's a deterrent. So if you have a weapon, people are more likely to attack you, okay, physically. Now, normal people that are healthy, mature, don't need that, understand? Normal, healthy people don't need to, healthy, normal, mature, good people don't need to have the threat of physical violence as a thing to control their behavior, understand? They're internally controlled by morals, and it's like a person, for example, me, I don't go around bullying people, so I don't have to be like, they understand if I see a guy who's short and ugly in the supermarket, I don't start picking on him, even though I could kick his ass most likely. That is not because, oh, he's short and ugly. So that's just, I'm not going to stop being mean to him and bullying him or something like this. Okay. But a person who is like looking for people to pick on, they're more likely to pick on somebody who's is easy to pick on. I gotta put some comments on. Yeah, so I'm gonna do another disclaimer here. It's been kind of like a radical passionate rant here about bullying and how it's dangerous to bully people, don't bully people. And I've had personal experience of people tell me that they come to my house and stuff. And I've also had people talk threatening to me in the chat, and I'd be like, I don't think you'd be talking like that to me in my home. And I don't think you'd be bullying me in my home like you do online and things like this. And they'd be like, oh, well, yeah, I would, but whatever, I'm a big guy. So it's like, okay, but I have a knife on me at home. And then if you were attacked back, there comes a point where I'll be able to use it on it. Well, I don't worry about that. I just disarm you, I'd overpower you, I'd disarm you. And so we would overpower you. What has that supposed to mean? You talked to a retarded video that said that they'd be the people recruited to bully all times, and we would overpower you. They said, well, what the hell? So, yeah, what about a pen on it? Well, a pen, uh, it depends on what pen. I mean, you don't want to overestimate a pen, but the main weapon is the body, okay? And part of the body is your brain. So if you have a brain, you can improvise weapons and use things as weapons if you need to. Now, personally, I have a Sharpie pen here, okay? And my hand might be more dangerous without the pen in it than with the pen in it, okay? So it depends on what pen, okay? But I mean, if you're physically powerful enough, athletic enough, and you would have for example, if you can hammer fist, and you would hold like a pen that's made from steel or something like this, and you will hammer fist it, possibly it could break the cranium. It could like break a bone, understand? So this is what's called a hammer fist. if you know martial arts, there's a lot of things that become more effective as a weapon. For example, this is a hammer fist. See? So if I was moving that's a hammer fist, that's a martial arts technique. And typically it's used in the UFC for ground and pound, not while standing. Now, if I'll be holding a pen and do the same technique like a hammer fist, as about as hard or harder, obviously that can create a problem. So, speak of which, yeah, I think I might finish up. Uh, Thanks to Hatfield McCoy and Sabiri and Studio Sound for showing up. I'm fixing to finish up here. If I still work in the comments, sometimes when I make videos like this, I'm making a video and doing commentary on it. And then towards the end of the stream, I might get into like read the comments and spend more time with audience interaction, kind of like the end part of it, like wrapping up and stuff. It's like a message I would like to deliver or produce some content. And after I'm done with that, I just spend more time getting into comments. Sometimes I'm live and I just kind of go live and deal with comments while live. But I might go live again a little bit later on, thanks to Hatfield McCoy and see you around, people. I might go live again later on. I don't feel like being live anymore. I started washing machine, see when I get to eating. I didn't eat yet, I didn't break my fast yet. I'm gonna break my fast eventually. It's 16:15 here in Sweden. Let's put in a local time. Local time 16:15 2026 06:05 2026 06:05. Some places of the world might actually be a different date. Yeah, so in Sweden, it's legal for me to have knives on me in my home. Unfortunately, you can't bring weapons with that in public. Now, there's things that I can have in my person that in an emergency, it could be used as a weapon. And I can carry them legally, and in certain situations, it would be legal for me to use them in self-defense. But it is pretty limited, okay? In my home, however, I can have a number of weapons. So in Swedish weapon laws, I can have melee weapons. I can have clubs, sticks, spears, machetes, hammers, knives, big, small, whatever. But you cannot go into public with any type of knife. You can't have weapons on in public. So leaving your home with a weapon on is legal. If you have a knife, baton, pepper spray. So the only type of sprays that allow you to have are the ones that are not that effective, basically. And it's sprays that are like a dye, kind of like dye packs the banks have to prevent bank robbers. It's like a dye that can help to identify the suspect if you get assaulted by them. And they also sprays that so that they can have like a effect on it, but they're not going to be as effective as Olio kept saying, like OC, strong pepper spray, which I think is kind of ridiculous. But that's how it is. Tyrants always seek to dissolve the public. And I'm for gun rights and weapon rights in general. And I do believe that people should be about as armed as dangerous as they could be legally where they reside. And I don't believe that any government has the right to restrict the ability of people to have weapons. Now, unfortunately, you have to deal with reality and where you find yourself in this life. So I don't have a bunch of firearms since it's illegal, okay? But if it was legal, I'd have a bunch of them, okay? One of the best home defense weapons you can have in a place like Sweden, where it's illegal to have firearms, is a spear. I've actually made entire videos on that before. But a spear is one of the best home defense weapons you can have. It kind of depends on the layout of your apartment, home, and things like this. But generally, a spear is on the better home defense weapon. It's better than a bat. It's better than uh, a baton. It's better than a machete, mainly due to the reach advantage that it affords you, where you can engage an intruder at range before they're close enough. Like let's say an intruder has like a machete, you can poke them with the spear before they can get close enough, before they ever can get close enough to touch it with the machete. So one of the best home defense weapons you can have in a place like Sweden is a machete. Well, a bow too. Now, a bow is legal to have at home. Okay. No crossbows. I've joked about before how in Sweden, it's like they keep you in the Middle Ages, the government. So it's like a sort of foreign ages before you have firearms and crossbows. Okay, so they used to have in the Middle Ages like spears and clubs and knives and axes and stuff and bows. And then a certain part of Middle Ages, they invented the crossbow. Okay, so it's like they keep you the time right before the invention of the crossbow is what the government keeps you at. So you can have a bow, but you can't have a crossbow. Okay, and you can have spears and clubs. So they wanted to be like a caveman. Instead, what they got like drones with lasers on them or something like this. So now a bow could it be used for self-defense, home defense? Sure, but you only get one shot. You kind of one shot, okay? Meaning, it's like I have knives and stuff, but let's say I had a bow over here, and somebody came through the window in the kitchen, and I had like a bow pre-stringed. It was like the knot is already the string right here, and I pull it and turn around. And if he's running at me, I might get off one shot before he's close enough to engage me in melee combat. Melee combat. So if this guy got a knife like a crack and a cold bar, they break through the window over there. You can see like the black sheet there. So that's a window, okay? If I had a bow here, like everything's ready to go, so someone comes through and I draw it and turn around like this, and he's charging me, running at me with his knife. If I'm lucky, I get off one shot before he arrives here. I'm not gonna count on getting off two shots, even with training. Okay, you enhance your chances with training. Right? So if I have and like a quick on my back, it's like okay, it's like pull it, release. Okay, let's say I missed the first time, and I start pulling another one. Most likely, if he's still charging at me, he's at range to poke me before I get off another arrow, which means that's going to be more training intensive to be able to be more viable, feasible as a home defense weapon. Meaning your accuracy is like that. If you only have the time to get off one shot, training can help you hit that one shot. Okay, shot placement. You hit period somewhere, but you hit in a good place like center mass or whatever, head or whatever. And as a matter of fact, a broad tip hunting arrow can be more dangerous than a 9 mil bullet, actually. One contrasted to one. The wound channel, the bleeding, the tissue damage, the penetration. A broad tip hunting arrow, like they used to hunt elk or something with a compound bow, some of those hunting arrow tips can be as damaging, if not more even, than a 9 mil, especially like a full metal jacket bullet. Like hollow points that expand can cause more tissue damage and have more like knockdown stopping power. But a hunting arrow broadhead, like a fixed or one that expands upon impact, can be as dangerous and even more dangerous, like damaging, than a bullet, like an enemy bullet. Just the wound channel, how much tissue damage and blood loss is caused by it. So now here's the point. So a bow for home defense is more useful the longer ranges you have in your apartment, but still, it's like it requires that they have the bow close to you, and if you're lucky, you get off one shot before kind of like a worst case scenario. Guy comes suddenly in the apartment charging you. If you're lucky, you might be able to get off one shot with the bow, okay, before he's at you. Now I've seen some videos where it's like guy, kind of like the freak, rare unicorn, where it's like some news story about guy defends home with bow successfully. Okay. Um, Now, if you're lucky, it might even be enough. There's like some cracker breaks into your house, you draw a bow and just aim at them, just the threat of a bow, and be like, hey, get the fuck out of here. GTFO, they might actually listen to you because they're at the bow point, the arrow point. Okay. Now, it depends. It depends what you deal with. Um, Here's a loser gonna get blocked. Okay, there's a little loser that came in. Nobody gets to tell what to do. Birds too loud to get rid of, but I'm never getting rid of these birds, okay? Mikey, those birds too loud. Get rid of birds. No, I might get rid of the birds. You're too loud and you get blocked. So I'm shutting you up on the same. Keep talking, birds. Okay. Um. Now you got shut up. Okay. So I got rid of you. See, you can't leave calm so much anymore. So I'm blocking you on. Mikey, those birds too loud. Get rid of birds. No, I'm not getting rid of birds. I got rid of you though. You got blocked out of my chat, so I'm not able to call anymore. See? No. The birds have been sounding great, understand? And I'm not getting rid of them. So keep chirping away, birds. Get louder. Okay. So uh, yeah, I'm gonna finish up. I might go live again later. We'll see. Hatfield McCoy. I remember him. You're welcome on my channel, Hatfield. Okay. I only remember one time where I was like, "Is this guy trolling me?" Like, have a little bit of like an irk feeling. Now, also part of the time is I get trolled so much. A lot of times I'm already kind of irked, and sometimes I can be already in the mood, which I'm like, but that's the point. Hatfield McCoy, you have been conducting yourself to an acceptable degree where the way that you just end up being is not provoking to me. Okay, so Hatfield is welcome here. People that do rub the wrong way to a certain level, they're gonna get blocked. Okay, but Hatfield is not you're not one of these people yet, so you're appreciated viewer at this point. And I remember you showing up a few times, and I actually have liked your comments, meaning you call it a comments, your input, what you're saying, how you're acting is acceptable plus to me. Where it's kind of like a positive sometimes you show up with this Hatfield guy. Okay. Whereas a lot of people say, oh, he's got another person got a block or something like this. So, yeah, I'm gonna finish up. Thanks to Sabiri and Studio Sound uh, and Hatfield McCoy, and I'm finishing up, and might go live again later on tonight, a little bit later. I'm drinking whiskey today, so I like to be disciplined with my drinking. So earlier today I had two phone streams, and one of them was like one of the streams, the first one phone stream. I was taking my supplements, morning supplements, talk about my routines, yada yada. Second stream, I was brushing my teeth, doing my dental care routine, and then I'm not drinking until after 1300 hours at the earliest today. And it hit after 30 and decided I'm having some whiskey, what I call the gold silver solution. And I like to be this about my drinking. So it's like even if I have whiskey at home, I wake up in the morning and I don't have any commitments today. I don't go, let's just start drinking in the morning. No, a lot of times I pick a time. It's like, yeah, I think I'll drink this day. Not before and I pick a time. Okay. So I like to have some, I have to keep it under control. Even at half speed, I'm still pretty damn good. So I'm gonna finish up. Let's go to the end of the video. Take care of yourself, guys. Shout out to Hatfield McCoy, Sariri, Studio Sun, who were in here leaving comments. And if you're watching this, not only are the resistance, if you're watching this, you are the resistance. Not only are the resistance, one way or another. But don't forget to hit the like button if you watch my streams. And people can crack jokes and stuff, but it's like if you come in trolling, you expect to get blocked. There's other things, so people don't want to get blocked on the chat. Don't come in attacking me. Don't come in. I'm not like a person who's like tell people to bend over backwards. Like you have to address past your royal highness if you show up in here with your blog. Okay, it's just that common courtesy. It's like don't come in attacking me in my chat. And some people they don't have as much a problem with it. And I'm not saying they're bad necessarily. I know Cutie, for example, a friend that I lost. I consider as a strength But it's not like applicable to everybody. Where you have people come in saying he's a great piece PDF document or you're ugly, and he will just laugh it off and be like, now look at you, and it wouldn't bother him. But me, I do get really irked, okay? I'm not trying to stop being that way. I do get bothered by comments, okay? People are attacking me. And I'm not trying to stop being bothered by them right now. Meaning, yeah, it's like I'm harassed, I get told a lot, I got issues. I don't do well when people come in to troll me. And I know some people are monetized YouTubers where they get money from the channel. Maybe if I got a lot of money on the channel, I'd be able to, well, just let it come and troll and say whatever. I'm getting more views and money based off of letting these trolls hang out in the chat, okay? But it's like, for me, it's not worth it, okay? So, people that, if you don't want to get blocked, don't come in trolling and harassing me, okay? And people like Hatfield don't really have to get told. But if your person needs to get told, you've been told. And if you still come in harassing and troll me, expect to get blocked. You have to come back with a new channel and get blocked again. So, yeah, anyway, I gotta finish up. And here's another thing, finish on this. If you're a person that's looking to make sure you're going to heaven when you die, I can tell the truth on how that happens. So, and it's by faith alone in Lord Jesus Christ's finished work on the cross. So salvation is by faith alone. There's a lot of Christians, so-called, that teach you got to do works. You got to work hard. You got to do this. You got to do that to make sure you go to heaven. What the Bible teaches is that you say by faith alone, which means all a person must do to be saved is to believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and they shall be saved. Okay, and more specifics, like I had to, what you believe in is Jesus Christ as your Savior and what He did for you. So Lord Jesus Christ paid for your sins on the cross with His shedding of blood, with His death, after He was buried, taken off the cross, dead and buried, and 3 days and 3 nights later He rose again from the dead. So all a person must do to be saved is to believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and His finished work on the cross. What I just told you about, Lord Jesus Christ died for your sins on the cross, was buried, and rose again from the dead the third day. So Lord Jesus Christ paid for your sins on the cross with His shedding of blood, with His death, after He was taken off the cross, dead and buried, rose again from the third day. So what you got to do to get saved is to believe in Jesus and what He did for you, His finished work on the cross, I like to call it. It is finished, is it? But what does it mean when it says finished? Paying for the sins of the world. Okay, His dying breath, it's finished. He had paid for the sins of the world with His shedding of blood. He died, He was buried, rose again from the dead. And the resurrection shows that He did the job. The God the Father raised Him from the dead. Because God the Son paid the sins of the world, He did what His job was, came back from the dead. So, for the wage of sin is death, but the gift of God is life through Jesus Christ our Lord. The Bible teaches the wage of sin is death. It also teaches almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without the shedding of blood is from remission. So the Lord Jesus Christ paid for sins with shedding of blood and with His death. He was buried and rose again from the dead the third day. Say, and me has He quickened. So here's the point. We were dead in trespasses and sins. So here's the point. The same way they got my soul saved, you can get any other person's soul saved. Just believe in Jesus and what He did for you. So there's like a thing where some people go in passages like this. You can go like, yeah, you're saved by faith only in Jesus, but that's not preaching the gospel really. Okay, it is true, but there's some more details that a person really should be told about to have a full gospel presentation. That you're saved by faith in Jesus, who was the only begotten Son of God, entirely sinless, and here's what He did for you. He paid for your sins with His shedding of blood, His death, after He was buried, rose again from the dead third day. So believe in that to get saved from the lake of fire, and you will get saved. See? So salvation is by faith alone. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is a gift of God, not of works, the same man should boast. So the Bible teaches salvation by faith alone, in Christ alone, and His finished work alone, as I like to say. Okay, Christ Jesus and His finished work. So you're not saved by believing that Jesus was the only begotten Son of God. You're saved in believing that in Jesus and what He did. And that's simple. Simple. And once saved, always saved. which means if a person trusts in Lord Jesus Christ and his finished work on the cross to be saved from hell, the lake of fire, they get saved the same moment they do. And they stay saved automatically. So notice how I don't want to preach the gospel. It goes, and remember, you gotta, yeah, it's the gospel, believe to get saved, and you gotta do, and not do somebody else. Because you're saved by faith alone, and once saved, always saved. Okay? Meaning, there's nothing you can do to lose your salvation if and when you get it. Nothing. What about this? No. So, and sometimes people go, hey, but Mike, what about if I do this? If a person does, what I tell you, you shouldn't have to ask me. Because I told you there is nothing, what I teach and believe, there is nothing that can make a person that has received salvation lose it. No thing. Not one thing, nothing. Okay. Therefore, you should not have to inquire as to what my belief and teaching is. But what about if a person does this thing or that thing or these things plural for this long or something like this? I already told there's nothing if a person is salvation, okay? But what about this thing? I told you there's no thing, okay? Singular or plural, short, long term, there's nothing. Even if you stop believing, if you stop doing something wrong, if you start doing something bad, stop doing something good that you weren't doing, which is where after getting saved, you're still not losing salvation all the time. So, also for Mike said to eat and drink and rejoice in his works and enjoy the good of all his labor. That is his portion. I gotta finish up the video. Okay, thanks. Shout out to Hatfield McCoy. He's still in my good graces. He didn't get back the Mike's rage quit chat blog yet. And he looks like he's the type of person he might actually go on the blog run or not be blocked too much. Okay, I will be surprised. Okay, and so really, Hero Town. Take care, guys. Okay, so. Do, 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 do.